Good Thursday evening, South Carolina weather watchers. I'm your meteorologist, Joseph Peterson, and let's go in and talk about the weather for your Thursday evening going into your future. We have some stuff that we are going to talk about tonight. We have some stuff that we are going to go on and talk about tonight. And so, before we get into that, though, if you have not hit the like button yet, go on and do so. And also, make sure that you go on and hit the subscribe button as well. Right now we're at 671 subscribers. We are 29, yes, 29 subscribers away from that main goal of 700. We're getting closer and closer and closer by the day. We just need to continue pushing there. Also, share with your friends, your family members, acquaintances, even people that you don't even talk to. Just go on and share it to them so they can go on and get a dose of weather, free weather. This isn't, anything that you have to pay for. All of this is completely for free. That's number one. Number two, what's on tap for tonight? Well, we will obviously talk about tonight's weather, the current weather. We'll talk about tomorrow, short-term future, long-term future, and then we also will talk about the increasing confidence and potential winter storm Saturday going into Sunday, potentially into Monday as well. So that's the main thing. Definitely going to be this winter weather that we have going on. And so let's go on and just start off. We're not going to waste any time. We're just going to go on and get started immediately. So if we go and look at the live radar, what's currently going on? Well, we currently do in fact have some rainfall going on right now, like over here inside the upstate. We do in fact have some isolated showers going on over there. Same thing over here in Columbia, to Saluda, to McCormick, to Gaston. And then even as you move over here into Florence, Darlington, Bennettsville, we have some rainfall moving in over there as well. But if we scroll our way out, see what's going on throughout the entire U.S., you can see that we do in fact have some rainfall going on down here inside the southeast. Not too surprising. We do in fact have some snowfall going on in Michigan, New York, Maine's getting in on some snowfall right now. We also do have some rainfall and some snowfall over here in the Pacific Northwest, and then some rainfall over here in California, Arizona, and Nevada. Cloud cover. Cloud cover right now is actually seeming like it's actually mostly cloudy out there. Upstate getting on some cloud cover, Midlands getting in on some cloud cover, PD getting in on some as well, coastal areas getting in on some. I see some clearness going on, like a little bit in the inland low country, maybe the inland Grand Strand areas. But that's about it. Everybody else seems to have some clouds over them. And if we go on and look at our cloud cover for the future, we're going to start off here at 9 o'clock p.m. And as we push this forward, this is all the way to 12 o'clock in the morning right here. You can see that we have some more cloud cover pushing in into the upstate, while the low country stays relatively on the more clear side. But that won't last. We go all the way to around 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock a.m., and we have cloudy conditions covering up the entire state. We move on to 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 10 a.m. Cloud cover now, again, like I said, taking over the state. Going all the way to 11 o'clock, 12 p.m. now. Here we are at noon, and we have some cloud cover now over the state. As we move into like the coastal low country area, could be some isolated clearing spots there, but for the most part, mostly cloudy. Even as you go into tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening, going into Saturday as well, Saturday morning, nice and cloudy. And then this is when, we start to see that potential for that winter storm to start moving it in. Honestly, I think that really there's not really any more of a potential anymore. I think that we know that this is going to happen. There will be a storm, winter storm that moves its way in, so no longer really just a potential. We're just now waiting for those impacts. But current temperatures right now, we have around 52 in Somerville, 54 in Charleston, 54 also inside of Beaufort, and 54 at Hilton Head Island. You move over here inside of the PD areas, you have around 52 in Georgetown, 53 in Merrill's Inland, and 50 in Conway, 51 in North Myrtle Beach, and 50 in Florence, 51 in Sumter, and 52 in Orangeburg, 50 Aiken, and 48 in Columbia, Lugoff, 49 Hartsville, and 46 in Lancaster, 47 Newbury, Greenwood, 47 in Anderson, 46 as well over there inside of Clemson, Greenville, Spartanburg, Gaffney, 45 in York, 44 in Rock Hill, and 46 in Union. Now, what about for your air quality? Well, air quality right now, everybody is inside the good except for some areas. They're inside the little moderate category. from Greenville to Spartanburg, Anderson, Greenwood, Columbia, Florence, and then maybe even as you move over there into Myrtle Beach. So definitely nothing really too much to worry about here at all, really. And there goes the little legend at the top right if you want to go in and look at it. So let's go on now and look at your low temperatures for tonight. Then we will go on and look at your high temperatures. So starting off here, low temperatures for tonight, you have around a good 40 in Greenville, 38 in Spartanburg, as well as 39 in Rock Hill, 40 inside of Lawrence, and 40 inside of Newberry. We also do have around a good 43 over there near Columbia, 45 inside of Orangeburg, and 44 in Moncks Corner, 44 in Walterboro, and 48 in Charleston, 44 Georgetown, and 42 inside of Kingstree, 46 in Myrtle Beach, and 50 over there in Hilton Head Island. So that is for our low temperatures. Look at these high temperatures for tomorrow. Yes, you are looking at these high temperatures for tomorrow correctly. 47 in Spartanburg, 46 Greenville, 48 Anderson, 49 Greenwood, 48 Newberry, 48 Winnsboro, 53 Columbia, 51 in Camden, 51 also inside of Florence, 54 Sumter, and 58 in Orangeburg, 61 in Barnwell, and 61 in Moncks Corner, 63 in Charleston, and 65 in Walterboro, 66 Hilton Head Island, and 58 in Georgetown, 56 in Kingstree and Myrtle Beach, and 49 Dillon, 51 in Florence. So high temperatures tomorrow are only going to get into the 40s for areas up there inside of the upstate, while areas in the low country still in the 60s. So it's going to remain warm down there. Rainfall as we move throughout the next 24 hours or so, 100th of an inch to a 10th of an inch goes on for Greenville, Spartanburg, Rock Hill, Girard, Dillon, Florence, Sumter, Columbia, Aiken, all these areas. 100th of an inch to a 10th of an inch. Maybe even a 10th of an inch to a quarter of an inch in Anderson, Lawrence, Newberry, and Greenwood, as well as Winnsboro. Crazy score for tonight. If you have no idea what the crazy score is, it is a score that we see how crazy the weather is throughout the entire state of South Carolina. And right now we're at an 8. Well, why are we at an 8? Well, number one, temperatures are pretty much mild. We're not going to be, below freezing or anything like that. Pretty normal for this time of year. So nothing too crazy there. Cloud cover prevents any sort of radiation or cooling for us to get to freezing. But like I said, I think I would knock it up just a little bit more. Like I said, in terms of the crazy scores, they're completely automated. So I do not personally make them myself, but I think probably could be a little bit higher, at least close to the 15 mark, just because of the clouds right now. And also, this is just not the night at all for radiational cooling, because you have the cloud cover, you don't have clear skies, winds are calm, so I will say that is in its favor, but humidity is also moderate to high. So it's going to be moist air, that's going to limit cooling as well. There also is going to be just zero meaningful hazards or impacts as we go into tonight. Yes, there is, some rainfall going on right now, but nothing really too crazy. SPC outlook for tonight, no thunderstorms are expected tonight, tomorrow, or Saturday, so we are good here inside of South Carolina in terms of thunderstorm activity. Same thing for fire weather. Excessive rainfall, we move throughout all the 5 days. What do you see? Absolutely nothing. We are good here in terms of fire activity. So let's go on now and look at the models. So we're already here as of 9 o'clock or 9:11 right now p.m. And remember yesterday we were here for a very long time, so we're going to just try and prevent that from happening again. We're just going to go in and get through this. We start off with our short term first. And as we go in and push this forward, you can see rainfall still moving its way up into the upstate of South Carolina. And you can see low country not really getting much, Grand Strand not getting much, PD not getting much. Midlands may get some as you go into tonight, but for the most part, most of that activity is up there instead of the far upstate. Now, if we go over here all the way into around 12 o'clock in the morning to 1 o'clock in the morning here on the 23rd, that rainfall starts to expand a little bit more. Then as you go all the way to 4 to 5 to 6 o'clock in the morning, that rainfall still primarily up there. But you are starting to see some rainfall going in the Grand Strand and the PD areas, maybe the southern Midlands now going into tomorrow morning. And then once you get to around 9 to 10 a.m., you start to see some rain droplets trying to move into the low country finally around 11 o'clock in the morning. But just if we go back, and go through it again, most of that rainfall just seems to be wanting to occur inside the upstate. You can even see like a little area that trains over the same areas over and over again. If you see, let me go and get my pen real quick. But if we go on and look at it, move on over here. You see like this little area over here? You just kind of just trains over that same area over and over again with precipitation. Then as we continue all the way to 5 to 6 o'clock, all the way over to around 7 o'clock p.m., you have rainfall now going into now kind of moving out of the upstate, now moving down more south and more towards the coastal areas and more on the lower half of the state, around 8 to 9 p.m. here on the 23rd. And this is tomorrow night. Rainfall most likely going on throughout a good amount of these areas. You get to 12 o'clock in the morning here, Saturday morning, and again, still just the same area. But then we'll calm down. We get here to around 5 o'clock in the morning, all the way to 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock in the morning Saturday. And look at this, nice and dry, but look out there to the west. Snowfall, ice going on in northern Alabama, going on inside of Tennessee. And that will start to build a lot, even if we go on and scroll our way out. You can see this huge system that's going on over here. Arkansas, Missouri, Tennessee, Kentucky, Illinois, Louisiana, eastern Texas. All of these areas right here getting in on that snowfall. But as we continue our way forward all the way to 3 p.m., we're going to zoom back into South Carolina. And you can already start to see maybe a little bit of activity going on over here inside of the very eastern part of the state at 3 p.m., but nothing too crazy. It's not until we get to around 6 o'clock p.m. going into 7 o'clock p.m. that we start to see some freezing rain starting to fall up here inside of the upstate. So yes, this is the short term. This is the furthest that we're going to get because it's 48 hours out only. And so this is as far as I can go with this model. It stops here at 7 o'clock p.m. on Saturday. And you can see all the ice that's falling up there inside of the upstate. Even a little bit of snowfall potentially going on up there inside of the very far upstate. Rainfall definitely occurring in some spots as well. But everybody else from the low country to the Grand Strand areas looks dry. So that's just the HRRR. What about the GFS? What does the GFS say? Or honestly, hold on, wait. We're actually going to go and look at the NAM real quick. We're going to look at the NAM real quick first. And it actually took me to the 18Z, which is what I wanted it to do. But if you start off right here, you can see this thing already has, a little bit of freezing rain and a little bit of sleet going on at this time at 7 o'clock p.m. And it actually has this little system trying to move in a bit earlier. I mean, like even as early as Saturday morning. That's when the NAM has this to start. But one thing about the NAM, though, is that sometimes it will show precipitation that's not hitting the ground. But for this, I think that this probably would just suffice. But if we go all the way to noon right here, you see freezing rain, you see sleet going on. And again, this is way before the HRRR. The HRRR has us being dry at this time frame, but NAM, absolutely not. You continue this all the way forward past 7 o'clock where we just were. This is where we just were on the HRRR. Showed a completely different story, and it shows a huge amount of sleet going on over here inside of the upstate, going on now down into the Midlands a little bit as well as 1 o'clock in the morning going into Sunday now this is. So freezing rain going on a little bit in the more southern Midland areas. Heavy amounts of sleet going on over there inside of the upstate. So let's go and look at the GFS now. The GFS here, 7 o'clock p.m. shows sleet up there inside of the upstate. And it shows a little bit of freezing rain. And even says some freezing rain might try to get into the low country. This is Sunday morning right here, 7 o'clock in the morning. And it has freezing rain going on over throughout a good amount of the state, from the southern Midlands over into the PD area. But the only areas that are really lacking, the coastal areas, the Grand Strand areas, and the more inner coastal region areas of the low country as well. Kind of lacking. No rainfall until you get to around 1 o'clock, and it's just rainfall. It's not freezing rain or anything like that. Maybe some areas along that border might, but for the most part, it looks like that it is just kind of more that heavy barrier and that heavy boundary, that heavy border right there around 1 o'clock p.m. kind of sets up. And we'll see where that border goes down to. We'll see, when the shorter term models come out, we'll see what it looks like. Then as we get to around 7 o'clock p.m., the GFS says that no, it's actually going to try and leave out that more southern area and create like a little dry slot there and kind of just move all that precipitation up into like the upstate area, bringing some more ice up there, transition to rain at around the 26th at 1 a.m. And then by 7 a.m. on Monday, you just get some leftover showers inside of the low country and inside of the Grand Strand PD areas, and then it's gone. That's it. According to the GFS. And just to show what it looked like yesterday, this is what it looked like at 7 p.m. today. Yesterday, this is what 7 p.m. looked like. So you can see the shift here, showing it a little bit more to the west. So a little bit more to the west, and showing possibly a little less, definitely a little less convection throughout the state. And so that's what we're looking at there in terms of the GFS. What about snow totals? Well, we can go on and look at that right now. If I go on over towards the forecast loop, and we're going to go on and look at winter weather, total snowfall, and then if we go on and look at the United States, go all the way down, we're going to go about 123-ish hours out, or not a lot. Definitely is not a lot at all. And yeah, I don't know what in the world's going on. I think something's up with that one, but I think this one right here, I'm pretty sure this one right here is correct. But right here, this is what it looks like. I mean, totals, not a lot. I mean, this goes all the way 342 hours out, which I probably need to push that back a little bit more because that kind of goes into February, and we'll talk about that as well. But, I mean, if we look at it like 120 hours out into the future, look at this. Barely a drop of snowfall. Barely a drop, just like a little trace. But the GFS right now does not show much in terms of snowfall right now throughout the entire state of South Carolina right now. But what does the European model say? And when we checked it out yesterday, the European one was more the one that showed more of an ice scenario as well. Going and pushes forward, it shows, ice pushing into the state 7 to 10 o'clock p.m. here on Saturday. And you have some rainfall around it here and there. And then you have just that huge amount of ice that goes on in the upstate, Midland areas. And then it kind of just moves out. You have like a little rainfall, little cold front maybe trying to move its way through 7 p.m. here on the 25th. And that'll go throughout the nighttime there. And then we get dry right here on Monday morning. So both of these models have this thing getting out of here at around like, Monday morning, going to Monday afternoon, and then drying back up, probably getting more clear as well. Now, what does the Euro say in terms of snowfall? Well, I'm pretty sure. Actually, the Euro doesn't have anything in terms of snowfall. I would have to get something for that. Well, yes, it does. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. I'm pretty sure it does. Euro. It does, but there you go. Okay. So, this is what the Euro says right there. Nothing, pretty much. It doesn't show anything in terms of snowfall, in terms of accumulation for the entire state as well. And so, honestly, in my opinion right now, it just looks like that not too much of anything at this point. Looks like not too much of anything at this point. And I actually think I can actually do this as well. If we go to the global, I can go to GFS. Let me see if I can do this. I haven't used this in a minute. Total snowfall. I'm going to switch it over to the Euro real quick. Does the Euro have snowfall on here? It does not. So I can't check that. I can check out the snowfall on here, though. I never use this model at all, this website, or this radar app right here to actually do it. But you can actually as well push this forward and see the snowfall moving through. But like I said, this is from the same GFS right here. It does not say anything as well. What about freezing rain? Well, freezing rain, that's a bit of a different story here. We're going to be around 156 hours out here. Now you can actually kind of see like some locations on your map. Maybe you can see where you are. Now, instead of just looking at a full-on, website with no names on it, now you can now look at where you are. You see around like a good inch plus over here near Spartanburg. You see around a good 0.6 over here near Greenville. Almost an inch near Clemson. You see around like over here in Columbia, 0.45. Let me see if I can see any locations inside the chat that I can go to. I see Monk's Corner. Let me go down there real quick. You have around like not much, 0.02. I see Georgetown, like not a lot at all. I don't see anything there. And then, um, that's all I can see in terms of any sort of location inside the chat that I could check up on. But like I said, a lot of these areas, and this is just one model run, we'll see what happens, but it definitely looks like that the more you get up into the upstate, looks like that's the more ice, a more freezing rain that you will most likely get. And so we were kind of expecting that. That was kind of expected. So I'm not really too shocked by that. Not really too shocked by that. So now that is out of the way, I do want to go on and look at some other ones as well. I think I'm going to go to the NAM 12K. See what the NAM 12K has. This is the 0Z right here. It goes around a good 72 hours out into the future, but it's not ready yet. So I can go to the 18C though. See what that one says. This is right now in terms of freezing rain, in terms of 18, hours out. This is just the NAM 12. And it shows, a lot less. But again, like I said, this is only 80-something hours out compared to the GFS, like 100 hours out or so. And it only shows like a tenth-ish of ice as you go throughout the next 80 hours. So nothing too crazy. Nothing too crazy. But even, once you get to around like that quarter of an inch to half inch territory, that's where you really can start talking about some problems. I mean, like I said yesterday, even 1/100 of an inch could cause vehicles to slide in that. So it doesn't even matter if it's at 1/100 of an inch, 2/100 of an inch, 3/100 of an inch, doesn't matter. A freezing rain, it does not matter. Because you can still definitely slide on it either way. But that's all right here in terms for ice accretions here. We can go back as well and look back on some other models that I might could see. Like, for example, the CMC is another one. We can go on and look at that one. Push it forward over here all the way to around... actually move it back a little bit. It's around 1 o'clock p.m. right here on the 24th. You push this forward, you start to see that freezing rain come in. I mean, here's 1 a.m. right here on, this is Sunday right here. And you start to see that freezing rain and that sleet really starting to move its way in. Even as you go to around 1 o'clock p.m. right here on Sunday as well. And just rainfall continues for just other areas like the Low Country and that Grand Strand area. And so one thing, I've made a couple of conclusions, and I think that I am very confident about some things real quick. I'm very confident about some things. So, number one, my first fact real quick. Oh, you can't see it. Hold on, let me go in and do this. My first fact right here is that this thing will start, if any sort of freezing rain or anything like that tries to start, it will most likely start, late Saturday going into Sunday. That's the timing. That's the timing for this to start. Saturday going into Sunday. I'm pretty confident that that's when it's going to start, unless the models take a huge shift. Right now, pretty much all of them are saying Saturday going into Sunday. Even if we go back to the ARRR where we just were, right there, that is going into... Now, this one's actually... yeah, that is Saturday. Okay. Let me just... I had to make sure real quick, because I thought 24th was Friday for a second. I was about to be confused. But, no. That's Saturday right there. So, like I said, Saturday going into Sunday. I think the only model that might be a little bit off with that is the NAM, because I think the NAM was the one that was kind of showing us stuff, I mean, as early as 2 p.m. on Saturday. So, that's the only model that's a little bit different than the others. But we'll see what happens there. We'll see what happens. But continuing back to where we just were. My first thing that I was confident of is that it's going to start Saturday, late, from Saturday, either late afternoon, evening, going into like early Sunday morning. My second thing throughout this analysis is that this lower area right here probably will not get any snowfall. I'm talking about the Low Country. I'm talking about the Grand Strand areas. I do not believe right now that these areas will get any snow. They might get some freezing rainfall, but I think the closer you get towards the coast, I think even like that upper low country area could probably get some freezing rain. But that lower low country area going into the more coastal areas, especially coastal low country, probably will not receive any sort of snowfall. Um, and I'm also pretty confident about that. One that I'm the most confident of, though, is number one over here. Number two, this is the second thing that I'm most confident of. And number three, I can go on and show you that actually right now in real time, is if we go on and look at the total snowfall amounts. If we look at the total snowfall amounts right now throughout the next 3 days or so, is that somebody definitely can receive around a good inch of rain, a good inch of snowfall. Excuse me. So you can see like an inch over there near Greenville, 1.3 inches possible in Spartanburg, 1 inch in Rock Hill, 2/10 in Columbia, Camden, half an inch in Newberry, 8/10 of an inch in Lawrence, 4/10 of an inch in Greenwood. And so that's what we're looking at over there throughout the next 3 days. And so, like I said, this area over here, let me go and make this pink. Not quite sure if any snowfall is going to happen in this area, but the one that I'm the most confident of is this area right here. I know that this area in the yellow is probably not going to get any snowfall at all. And then also, we can also go and look at the ice totals as well. We can go in and look at that next 3 days or so. So you see a half an inch all the way up to 3/4 of an inch. These areas right here definitely are going to have to watch out for that because, like I said, half an inch, quarter of an inch to a half an inch, that's when things really start to get real. Especially with this area over here inside the lighter red, they also have to be paying attention. And so if you're in the orange and the yellow, you also have to be paying attention as well. But for right now, it just seems like that if you're up there inside of that very far upstate to where you can even get an inch plus in this like little purple area, you definitely have to be watching out for that. And then if we just go and look at total precipitation just in general, so this is total precipitation, including rain, sleet, snowfall, ice, all of that stuff included. These are some of the totals that you can see right here throughout the next 3 days, from Friday morning going into Monday morning. And so I believe that is all there in terms of our update there in terms for our snow update. There is, we're getting some more confidence in some things, like I said already. We'll just wait till we get to around like tomorrow evening, for example, and especially Saturday morning, but tomorrow evening for sure, we will definitely have a very, very good idea of what is going to happen in terms of probably around like close to the whole system, especially as we go into Friday night because the ARRR will be there. We'll go all the way into around Sunday evening or so, but we'll see what happens there as we go into tomorrow. So tomorrow is going to be a pretty big forecast tomorrow to see what is everyone going to get like officially. So now let's go on and talk about the rest. So after this snowstorm is gone, and I've been talking about this for a hot minute, is that we're not going to be done with these cold temperatures. If we go in and push this forward, look at some of these temperatures that move their way in. This is 20 to 30 degrees below average. You can see over there inside of the very far upstate. And so these are going to be very cold temperatures right here. And that will continue. I mean, even as you go right here into the 30th as well. Now, the 30th is a bit different. I'll talk about why in just a second. But I'm really just focused on this one right here. And then there goes our little cold front that passes by as we get, past this system right here. But look at these temperatures that we have. Yes, these are real temperatures. These are not, these are not with wind chills. We're seeing real temperatures right now. -7 over there near Spartanburg. 4 degrees over there near in the Midlands. You see 19 over there near Sumter. 27 near Walter Road. 28 near the coastal areas. And this is, of course, at 7 o'clock in the morning. But if you go on and push your way back a little bit, for the most part, it seems like, for example, at 1 p.m., it's still below freezing for a lot of people up there inside the very far upstate. 7 p.m. over here, You even start to get some more cooler air trying to move its way through. Goes back into like the coastal areas again by around 1 a.m. You have temperatures down to the 30s. You'll see temperatures back down to single digits again as you go into the 28th, going to the 29th. Then you see another huge wave of cold air moves in. This is January the 30th. You're seeing -4 up there inside the upstate. You see 12 over there inside of the Midlands. You see 14 in the low country. You see 18 near the coastal areas. I mean, you'll see freezing temperatures all the way off the coast, away from the coast. That's just how cold that cold blast is going to be. And it's not, necessarily in our favor that there's already cold air already in the system already and already in our atmosphere. So just adding more cold air with that like sweeping whoosh of air, not ideal. Not ideal at all. And so that's going into the end of January. So you have a little bit longer, to go on and look at that. That's going about like a week or so until that happens. Things will still change. Things will still change there as well. If I go back to the GFS here and we go on and look at the actual temperatures, and we're going to look at the wind chills instead. But if we go on and push this forward, this right here is going into Sunday. You see wind chills down in the 20s for pretty much everybody. But then that main system that comes in, this is another one that we're looking at. This is on the 27th. So just a couple of days after that system moves through, we're seeing temperatures down to the teens right here going into Tuesday. We go into Wednesday morning there, still seeing 20s for a lot of us. But I want to move into the 29th into the 30th when that big system moves its way through, which there it goes right there. This is going into like the 31st here, but it doesn't show the craziest. Well, there it goes. Okay, it was a little bit later. Because for some reason this is the 12Z. Okay, that's interesting. But now we can go in and look at it. But right here, we go back all the way through into the 30th to 31st. I mean, again, preliminary, so not, expected to happen. But preliminary, but it's definitely possible that we could see negative wind chills throughout pretty much much of the state. I'm looking over here near Myrtle Beach, 0 degrees. I see up here inside of, near Clemson, Greenville, Spartanburg, Anderson, -16. I see over here near Augusta, -6. I see over here near like the coastal areas near Beaufort, I see 0 degrees on the dot. Looking over here in the Tri-County area, Dorchester, Charleston, Berkeley counties, and 1 degree, 0 degrees in terms of wind chill. And so things are really going to get cold after this system moves us through, especially as we get into the end of the month, going into early February, because we're not done. We are not done, with this cold air. In fact, we are so not done with this cold air that there might be another chance for some more snow to hit again going into next weekend. And I'm still watching my time. I'm still watching it, making sure that I'm not running too far over. But this is going to be the last thing I'm going to say real quick. Then we're going to go in and talk with the audience, do the drought monitor, all that kind of stuff. But if we go in and continue this forward through all the way into January 30th here, you start to see some more snowfall, maybe trying to go on to like the more upper areas. Now, if we go back to yesterday, or even the day before, you can see that there definitely was some energy there, even as you go into right here, February the 1st right here. But look at it today. It definitely seems to be a lot later and a lot lower, and so not quite making it there. So we'll see how things develop there. But for the most part, definitely still is another chance for some more snowfall to occur after this system right here goes by. Then as you go into February, stays cold, more systems move through, more cold fronts, and that's what it looks like throughout the future. So let's go on and talk about the drought monitor. If you have no idea what the drought monitor is, it pretty much just tells us our drought conditions throughout the state of South Carolina. So we play a little game with it. We see who can guess the drought monitor correctly. So there's 4 options right now. Inside the poll right now, go in and vote if you have not already. But option number 1, the drought has expanded. Option number 2, the drought has stayed the same / shrunk. By the way, there was a drought the last time that we checked. In fact, the drought was pretty big. In fact, it was everybody was inside of a drought last week when we checked it. 11% said that the drought is gone / abnormally dry stays the same. 11% said the drought and the abnormally dry is gone, while 11% says that the drought has expanded, and 67% says that the drought has stayed the same / shrunk. So I'm going to go on and do the prediction myself as well. We go on back into not the what's on tab. But over here, I'm going to look at observed precipitation throughout the past 7 days-ish or so. And as I see, I see a good amount of precipitation over here, but I'm looking up here and I'm not seeing as much precipitation. And I think it's going to take more than that to go on and get rid of that precipitation. So I'm going to take a wild guess here. Wasn't that, actually it was freezing for a good amount of the days. So I definitely don't think that it shrunk, but I don't think that it really expanded that much. If it did expand, I think it would probably be up there inside the upstate. But almost like an inch of rainfall. Obviously, you're gonna need more than that. But I think that I'm gonna have to go on. Just make a decision quick here and just say that I'm probably just going to say I'm gonna be part of the 11%. I'm gonna change things up. I'm gonna say that the drought has expanded. I'm gonna be a part of the 11%. Just trying to change it up so I'm not a part of the majority. I'm going to be a part of the 11% that said the drought has expanded. So let's go on and get a drum roll real quick. And we will go on and check and see what's happening here. This one might have an ad thing on it. Let me go on and get it. It does. It's talking about pepperoni. So let me go on and just skip that real quick. There we go. And this almost, well, I'm going to have to look at the one from last week. I'm not quite sure exactly what happened there, but I think we talked about that on the 17th. I think that's when we talked about the drought. Let me see if I have it. Yes, we do. Okay. I'm looking at it right now, and yeah, that's an expansion. That is easily an expansion. You can go on and look at this one. This is the one from this week. And this is the one from last week. So last week, and then this week. So yeah, a huge, maybe not huge, but definitely an expansion on the drought. So not a good sign there. We have some new counties that are now inside of the D2 drought, now inside of the severe drought now. Counties like Darlington County's included in it now. Marlboro County's included in it now. Good amount now of Dorchester County's now inside the D2 drought, even though it's relatively a very small portion. A little bit more of Orangeburg County's in there. And then, for the most part, it looks like everything else remains the same. I don't see anything else too crazy. Everybody else is inside of a D1 drought. But the one that I see the most, that stands out the most, Marlboro County, Darlington County, Florence County is also included in there. And almost all of Chester County is included in there as well. So, let's give it up for me and the 11% that said that the drought was going to expand. Obviously, we're not clapping for the drought, but just saying that we got it correct. So, that's all in terms of the drought. That's all that pretty much we do. It doesn't take that long. So let's go on now and talk with the audience. If you want to be a part of the audience, you can by joining us at 9 o'clock p.m. Yes, 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time every night, especially since we have this stuff going on. We are going to go on and talk about it. So, we start off with the live chat first, I think, with this poll inside the way. I think that Mr. Chris was here first for tonight. He is. He says, good evening, everyone. Hope y'all had a great day. Well, I did. Thank you so much for asking. Miles Lewis says, good evening, everyone. Good evening to you. Shaw says, I pray that everyone had an enjoyable day. Well, I did. Thank you so much for that. Mr. Chris says, please remember to go and hit the like button and the subscribe button if you have not already. Also share with everyone that you know. It is free and it helps the channel grow. He's absolutely correct. Right now, we have around a good 43 people that have tuned in, and we only have 8 likes. 43 people have tuned in tonight, and we only have 8 likes. I don't know what's going on there, but if you are part of the 35 that have not hit the like button yet, go on and do so. It's free, and you can change your mind at any time, and we're even gaining viewers. So go on and hit the like button. It is free, and you can change your mind at any time. And also, if you're new, never hit the subscribe button before, go on and do so. There you go. I'm starting to see those likes go up a little bit. As we continue our way down, Mr. Chris says currently it's around 51 degrees here in Moncks Corner and clear. Well, thank you so much for that weather update for where you are inside of Moncks Corner. Um, Continue our way through. He also says, everyone, please remember to go on and remember that it's going to get cold. Check on the elderly and pets, and also plants and pipes as well. Make sure that all of those stuff are good. Pets, plants, pipes, neighbors, anything like that. Make sure you go on and check in. Make sure if you have to put any pets or plants inside, that's definitely being taken care of. Drip any sort of pipes inside the house or anything else on the exterior wall, or draining them completely of any water. My Aunt Shirley says, good evening, praying that all is well with everyone. Blessings to all. Well, thank you so much for that. And then Mr. Anthony says, good evening, everyone. Good evening to you. My Aunt Lewis says, today in Georgetown, we reached 69 to 70 degrees. Well, I said this morning that somebody could potentially get up to 70 degrees. I thought it was going to be more down there towards that Hilton Head Island area, but you got it today over there near Georgetown. I'll check out my high temperature right now. Well, here's the thing. My older one says 74. How accurate is that? We're going to go in and check it out in a second, because let me see my newer one. My newer one says 68. So that's a whole 5-degree difference there. Or excuse me, 6-degree difference there. So that's huge. That is a very big difference. And they're right next to each other too. So that's very interesting. The older one says 73.7, and the newer one says 68. Now, the newer one tends to have a little bit of a more colder and more hotter sensitive type of system. So if it's like, for example, 90 but it feels like 100, it might say like 96, 97 degrees. And while the newer one says around like 90 but it feels like, 100 like it is. So I tend to lean more towards the newer one, so I probably lean more towards that 68. Mr. Chris says Monk's Corner high of 65. So I think probably more around that 68 one probably was more accurate. The older one, I think it just got a little bit too sensitive to like maybe the sun. Getting those feel like temperatures a little bit. Trail says, greetings everyone, greetings to you. And then my Aunt Lewis says, today I was able to enjoy downtown Georgetown, a beautiful, beautiful day. Well, glad that you were able to go in and do that. My Nan says, hello Jay and all. OMG, what a beautiful day. And I soaked up a lot of rays. The guys worked in short sleeves. Well, glad that y'all were able to go out and get some outside time today. And then my Aunt Lewis says, yes, everyone is talking about the upcoming weather. Mr. Chris says, I'm so happy that this is not freezing weather. Well, for right now, yes, it's not freezing. It will be in the future, though. Will be in the future. My cousin Cheryl then comes in and says, good evening, weatherman. Good evening, everyone. I'm feeling a little bit better. Thank you. We are getting ready to have a stay-at-home weekend, so weatherman, do your thing. Love you, be blessed, Cheryl. Well, thank you so much for that. And I'm not really shocked. I'm not really shocked by that at all. When you have all that snowfall going up there near Philadelphia, which we'll talk about Philadelphia, not really too shocked by that. And then Mr. Michael says, good evening, Joseph. Thanks again for keeping us informed of the approaching winter storm. Pray that all stay safe, that are in harm's way of the storm. Absolutely. Not only just here in South Carolina, but especially in areas like Tennessee, Kentucky, Arkansas, Texas, even over there inside of Louisiana, over there inside of Mississippi, Alabama, even parts of Georgia, and North Carolina, Virginia, and up there in the mid-Atlantic going into the Northeast. All of these areas that are being impacted. This storm is probably going to be, I heard somewhere that it's going to be like 2,000 miles wide. So it's like pretty big system, like a really big system. And then Gibraff says, praying for safety for everyone and animals, elderly, homeless, all of that. And yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Especially for with these cold temperatures coming, especially the ones that are coming not only for just this week, but especially next week when we get that huge cold blast moving in, potentially moving things down all the way into like the 6-degree mark, going to even lower, wind chills all the way down to 0 to negative 14-ish degrees going into next week, potentially. So, negatives, definitely something that you have to really, really take into account, especially for how down south we are. But that's all I can see here right now in terms for the chat. So at least for me. So I think that is all. Let's go on now and check and see what's going on throughout the 4 locations outside of South Carolina. You might be asking, 4 locations, Joseph, what are you talking about? I'm talking about San Antonio, Texas, Raleigh, North Carolina, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, as well as Duncan, Oklahoma. The reason why we talk about these 4 areas because we have people from these areas who tune in almost nightly. And because they tune in almost nightly, we're going to give them their forecast for them. Usually doesn't take long, only takes around like a good 3-ish minutes or so. And so we're going to start off here with San Antonio, as we always do. And you have low temperatures tonight at around a good 60. High temperatures tomorrow at around a good 71. And then low temperatures tomorrow night at 46. Patchy fog is expected tonight and tomorrow. There will also be a chance of showers tomorrow. And showers are expected. Showers are expected as you go into tomorrow night. So that's what you're looking at there. In terms for your severe weather, in terms for your excessive rainfall for right now, looks like that you are mostly good. In fact, I would even go on to say that everybody, for the most part, maybe for the all part, is good. Yeah, it looks like that it is. No severe weather for anyone, no excessive rainfall for anyone inside of these areas. So, seem to be looking good. But in terms for your future in San Antonio, obviously, you know, extreme cold on the way. I mean, you're going to have temperatures down in 18 in San Antonio, which is extremely cold for y'all down there. Don't see that too often. And it will just be a rainy next couple of days going into the weekend. Friday, 40%, 90% Friday night, 90% Saturday, 80% chance of rain. Then you'll have freezing rain on Saturday night. Sunday, chance of freezing rain/rain. You know, and so you just kind of just going back and forth between these percentages, but it looks like that it's going to be a rainy weekend and rainy tomorrow as well. And then it's going to stay cold. Monday, 43, low temperatures Monday night, 24. So it's going to continue to stay cold for you. What about Raleigh, North Carolina? You have low temperatures tonight around 38, high temperatures tomorrow at around 48, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at around 22. You do in fact have a chance of rainfall tomorrow. You also will see some more sleet, snow, all that kind of stuff Saturday. Saturday night, you'll see a wintry mix. Same thing with Sunday. Sunday night, you'll see some freezing rain, and then it will just continue to stay cold. For example, Monday night, your low temperature is 9 degrees on Monday night. Tuesday night, 16. Wednesday night, 20. And those high temperatures will only be getting up in the 30s. No higher than that as you go into next week. So it's going to be a cold week next week. No severe weather or excessive rainfall for you either. And then now what about Philadelphia? You have low temperatures tonight around 27, high temperatures tomorrow at around 38, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at around 10. Precipitation not expected at this time, but you will see some heavy snow Saturday night. Sunday, you will see some more heavy snow. Sunday night, more snow. And then Monday, chance of snow again. So a snowy weekend for you is in store. In terms for your temperatures, it's just going to continue to get colder. I mean, low temperatures down in the single digits Monday night, Tuesday night. And then for Saturday, your low temperature on Saturday night is going to be, well, I should actually say, your wind chill Saturday during the day is at -1. Yes, you heard that correctly. You heard that correctly. Saturday, your high is 21, but your wind chill values when the winds are going to be -1, and your low temperature is 14. You know, and that means, you know, what is your wind chill going to look like on Saturday night? Now, it says calm wind becoming northeast at around 5 miles per hour after midnight, so, you know, we'll see what happens there, but it looks like, for the most part, that you will have temperatures all the way down into the negative in terms of wind chills this weekend. And then the final area being Duncan, Oklahoma, with low temperatures tonight at 34, high temperatures tomorrow at 37, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 13. No precipitation tonight, wintry mix tomorrow and tomorrow night. And then Saturday, same thing, wintry mix. Saturday night, snow and sleet. And then Sunday, you will see snow showers again. So you actually are under a winter storm warning right now due to all this snowfall. And in fact, you know, just if I go in and look my way down, looks like if I go in and move, I'm going to move all the way through to Sunday. And it looks like, I mean, all the way up to, an inch of snow just like in a very short period of time. Let me back up even more. Yeah, I mean, I see around like a good 2, 3-ish inches of snow there, and that's, not including sleet or ice or anything like that, or even just regular rainfall in general. So things like that is all things you're going to have to keep into consideration there. And also for your temperatures as well. I mean, you're going to have temperatures down -3 Sunday night, 6 degrees on Saturday night. And, I mean, for the most part, Saturday night, winds are going to be as high as 23 miles per hour. So that's going to bring your wind chill down to the negatives. I mean, no doubt about it. With gusts as high as 25 miles per hour, 6 degrees outside, yeah, you're going to be in the negatives. Even Saturday during the day, wind chills are going to be as low as -1. And so I think that's all here in terms for these 4 areas out of state. What's going on right now throughout the entire U.S., just weather news-wise, regular weather news-wise. If I go in and look at it, for the most part, just says everything that we've been talking about. A significant long-duration winter storm will bring widespread heavy snow, sleet, and freezing rain from the southern Rockies to the New England area through Monday. Widespread travel disruptions, prolonged power outages, and vast tree damage is likely. Frigid temperatures, gusty winds, and dangerous wind chills will expand from the north-central U.S. throughout the southern plains, the Mississippi Valley, and the Midwest as you go into the next couple of days. And so just so we know what the alerts are, up there inside the upstate, we have winter storm watches. In the Midlands, we also do have winter storm watches as well. But that's all that I have here in terms of the forecast for tonight. Let me go in and check. If you have not hit the like button yet, go in and do so right now. We have around a good 49 people that have tuned in so far, and only 37, yes, 37 people have not hit the like button yet. If you're a part of that group, go in and do so. Also hit the subscribe button if you're new. We're at 671, trying to get to 700. And then also share with your friends, your family members, acquaintances. People don't even talk to that much, because it really does help the channel out, and we're trying to get to that main goal of 700. And all subscriptions, all likes, all shares will all be greatly appreciated here. It helps get me out better content. But that's it. Everyone have a fantastic rest of your Thursday evening, and I will be back tomorrow morning for your Friday morning forecast update. Let's just get through tomorrow, and we will be there to the weekend.